Good morning, guys. What is up? It is a beautiful sunny morning. However, it is freaking cold outside. I live in Canada. It's like late May and it is 5 degrees outside. I am not happy in the slightest. Not at all. Not even a little. Look, he came back. Today what I'm going to tell you about is how and why I decided to create Milk & Co. Gourmet Cookies. So the actual story itself originated from a family function. So I have 2 little cousins and one with a very severe tree nut allergy. So when he was younger, anytime we would bring desserts to a barbecue or birthday party, that was always the first question was, can he have them? Were there traces of nuts? Were there nuts in it? And it was always better to be on the safe side to avoid eating it if it said may contain or traces of, etc., etc. So one day I asked him, I said, buddy, if there was a dessert that you could have, what would you want it to be? And he's like, I want a cookie, like a big cookie. So the next family function, I decided to go home and research making homemade cookie dough, which I had never done before. And this was probably about 2 years ago when I started making dough, and I realized how easy it was and how much better the cookies tasted, so I kind of continued on from there. And then as I started bringing them to family functions, they became a more frequent request. So then I was like, okay, I need to get serious with this. I need to find the best chocolate chip cookie recipe ever. So fast forward from there about 6 months, and it was my 21st birthday, and my mom and I were going to New York City. So I decided to research the best chocolate chip cookies in Manhattan, and I came across Levain Bakery, and my mom and I were there for, I believe it was 3 days. And I said to her, I said, Mom, if there's anything else on this planet that we have to do, it is go to Levain Bakery. So this poor woman, God bless her, woke up with me one morning, it was our last day, and I made her walk 37 blocks from our hotel to Levain Bakery. It was the closest one, it was like the other side of Central Park, and I think she was ready to kill me by the end of it, because she's like, I'm literally walking a half marathon just to get you a freaking chocolate chip cookie. However, I think she'll agree with me on this. It was the best chocolate chip cookie that I have ever had in my life. And if you're ever in New York, I believe they have 3 different locations, 2 or 3. It is worth every step. It is worth the money because they are a little more on the expensive side, but these cookies, I kid you not, were this big. They are absolutely massive. They are crispy on the outside. They're soft and gooey on the inside. They do have walnuts in the chocolate chip cookie. I think they might make one without it, but just something to be aware of. But oh my gosh, it was worth every step. They are so decadent and wonderful. So needless to say, the love and the passion for creating cookies and making them better continued after that trip. And then we fast forward probably about a year from now, and it was proposed to me, you have a really good product, you're passionate about it, why don't you start branding it and seeing if you can get reach beyond your friends and family. It's a whole lot of vulnerability, it's a whole lot of learning as you go, but I was nervous and excited, and I decided, you know what, okay, started with an Instagram page, and that's kind of where everything began to take off. I'm gonna say it's been the last 6 months where I have seen the most exponential growth between friends and family who have always been supportive of the dream and the cookies, getting into the local Guelph community, being featured in 2 newspapers as of right now, and working with a phenomenal bakery downtown, Killer Cupcakes. They use quality ingredients. These people are passionate about what they do, and they have been a tremendous help for me in terms of the business baking side of just kind of sharing their wisdom. They've been in the industry for quite some time, and as a newbie to the whole baking world and in the business world of baking, they've been so supportive and shared little tips and tricks for me, which has been super, super important. And I think that's one of the most important things that you can utilize as an entrepreneur starting out, or with an idea that you want to bring into fruition is 100% get involved with people in the industry, people that are experienced, people that have a proven track record of success. The help that you get from people who have already been there, it's no different than, you know, going through some kind of life experience and having a chat with your parents because they're like, oh, don't worry, like I've been there already. It is going to be incredibly beneficial to you as an entrepreneur starting out because you're going to have that upper hand and that little extra knowledge for somebody who's already been there and done that. I want to appeal to a demographic of whether it's, you know, a 4-year-old coming in to what I hope will be a brick and mortar store one day to get a cookie, and it's, you know, this experience, it's this massive cookie, and then their parents can also come in and it's that nostalgia of getting a cookie or baking a cookie, the smell, the experience that, you know, for me is so important because anytime I'm in the kitchen, anytime I'm pulling cookies out of the oven, specifically chocolate chip, it takes me back to being in my great-grandmother's kitchen when I was little. And there was not a time when you would go to this woman's house when she didn't have a teapot on and a tray of cookies fresh out of the oven. And her house had this, I don't even know how to describe it. If I could bottle this smell, I would do just that because it always fills me with so much happiness and so many memories just flood in every time those oven doors open. I'm gonna get a little emotional here. But no, she was incredibly instrumental in my involvement in being in the kitchen and developing a love of baking. My whole family is super involved in cooking. I come from an Irish and Italian background. I have my nanny on my mom's side who is a phenomenal cook. My summer breaks, my March breaks, my PA days were all spent with her, and it would be a day all leading up to then being in the kitchen together to prep dinner for my grandfather and my mom when my mom would come to pick me up. And that for me is enough to kind of go off, and I could talk about this forever because this whole business, this whole venture, despite my interest in baking or despite my passion for finding the best chocolate chip cookie, it all comes back to my roots, and it's the people, my grandparents, my father, who have always instilled that love of food in me, and that's why I feel that I'm doing something in the right direction because that passion is pure. So I won't get too emotional on you, but that's just going to show you how easily I can talk about this, how passionate I am about my business, and how sure I am that I'm going to keep going and growing and keeping you along for the process as I do so. So thank you so much for taking another peek at another video. Hopefully this one's not as cringeworthy. I'm sure the next few will be, but I'm getting a little better at it. So have a wonderful, wonderful day.